later. Norman's going to do a great tribute for this very special person for our fair. So, Norm Hicks.
Thank you, Dan, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow volunteers of the Durham Fair. What a great event this is. It's so nice to see everybody. So many people from far and near, and those of us that work at the fair, sometimes you don't get to see everybody because you're kind of pigeonholed. So it's great that the fair does this glorious celebration. Each and every one of you has played a pivotal role in making the Durham Fair a success, and I'll get to more about that later on. Over the past 10 years or so, as a group, selected people within this organization and honored them for their dedicated service to the Durham Fair over much of their lifetime. And hence it was called the Durham Fair Lifetime Achievement Award. It seems that this was done on a sporadic basis and sort of left behind for a variety of reasons, the least of which was COVID. Tonight we're going to resurrect this practice and honor one of us with the 2022 version of the Lifetime Achievement Award. Historically, we have celebrated some very fine and well-respected people in the past. Rosemary Naples, Henry Coe, George Panetta, and I believe the Panetta family is right here. You can wave. Harriet Duvall, and Harriet's over here. I just saw her, and her husband Dick is with her. Those of you who didn't get a chance to see the Quilt of Valor presentation, Dick was a recipient of the Quilt of Valor, and we're so very, very proud that he took that away. So their efforts, these fine people, helped us get to where we are today. So let me tell you a little snippet of information about tonight's honoree, because you don't know who it is, and the honoree doesn't know who it is. The person began with the fair in 1973 in an elected capacity and rose to the top of the so-called corporate ladder very quickly. Okay, so now you know it's a guy, is a male, lifetime resident of Durham, graduated from Durham High School in 1961. I wasn't even born yet. Oh, come on, everybody else buys that. Followed by graduating from the University of Hartford, I believe it was, in 1965. He quickly became assistant treasurer at the fair, moving on to the treasurer position and president of the association from 1979 until 1999, and is currently, and for the third time, treasurer of this organization. Of course, by now, you all know who I'm speaking of, our very own Len Baginski. I'm not finished, Of course, Len is here this evening, and by surprise, he's being joined by his family, his niece Michelle, her husband Mike, with their son Carson, nephew Mike, and his wife Donna, along with their son Morgan. Please join me in welcoming Len's family to the floor. As I mentioned, Len began his tenure with the fair way back in the 70s, as far as I can tell. It was difficult to write these remarks because I couldn't talk to Len about it. So I had to go to other avenues. A lot has happened at the fair. There are some notable things that Len has done. For example, in 1994, I believe it was, and Len can correct the date, along with myself, Jim McLaughlin, Richard Oddie, I think Diane Moore, and several others, went to see Barbara Lindsay in New Haven. Now, Barbara is an attorney, and you would think, oh, we're being sued. Well, no, that wasn't the case. We laid the legal groundwork for the formation of the long-awaited Durham Fair Foundation that set the Durham Fair apart from others in the state. Len became the president, served continuously on the foundation to this very day. He's also a continuous representative of the fair for the Association of Connecticut Fairs, as well as the International Association of Fairs and Expositions, including holding leadership positions with the Association of Connecticut Fairs. Len has always had a passion for the fair and has maintained this throughout his career. I happened to locate a video from fair historian Bill Hall from 1983. And if you're on Facebook, you can pick it up on Bill's Facebook page. It's not quite the Len you see today. He was a little bit younger. It helps tells the story, and a lot of what I'm going to say tonight is not what I wrote, it's what Len wrote. It's things that it's some quotes from him that he put together. So it really his own words, thinking of his passion for the Durham Fair and the fact that it literally takes a village. And I quote, and this is from 1983, "The Durham Fair is a success for a number of reasons. One is the fact that it's in the town of Durham, and we couldn't exist as a volunteer organization without the help of our volunteers. The Durham Fair, I'll say, in the last 20 years has really taken off, and one of the reasons is our directors are not afraid to try something new. But in trying something new, we are still very much aware of the fact that we are an agricultural fair, and we're going to remain an agricultural fair so that we do emphasize the exhibits departments and do whatever we have to do to get exhibits there." That's pretty much where we stand today. And so let's fast forward, 2018. I interviewed Leonard for a video on the occasion of the 100th Durham Fair. And for whatever reasons, that was never seen by anyone. I have to think about that. So my question to him was, so we constantly talk about volunteers and the unwavering effort that our volunteers put into the fair. How do you think that works in the whole big picture of the Durham Fair? Leonard replied, "It is the big picture. I mean that it's the character of the fair. If you take our organization chart, if you want to call it that, and give it to a management consultant, he or she would say that's not going to work. But it does work, and it works because of the dedication and spirit of the people here, and that really hasn't changed. I mean, people changed, but the fair stayed. I've been to plenty of seminars about getting youth involved and getting volunteers, and everybody is worried about it. And somehow people just come forward and it just keeps going." So my friends, did you notice any similarities? Not really. This little before and after story is a testament to Len's dedication and forward thinking that has driven all of us throughout the years and inspired by those like Len in leadership positions. Let me share another quote from the 100th anniversary video entitled "The Durham Fair, 100 Years and Counting." And I quote, "When I first got involved is when they moved most of the stuff here off the green down below. The dairy barn was built in 1971, the Midway went down there, major entertainment went down there, and that's when the fair really took off." He continues, "It means community spirit and community involvement." So we're seeing a trend here. Leonard continued throughout his career as president to move the fair forward in so many ways by encouraging the directors to think out of the box. In the same 1983 interview, he says, "We have, as in other years, had named professional entertainment. We have a tractor pull, a horse pull, a pony pull, and a horse-drawn carriage rally," which I don't know how many of you remember that. That was quite the event. But like some things, it went by the wayside.
This year we added a new exhibit area near the midway with educational type exhibits, including guided tours of agricultural exhibits within the fair. That we still have. The major plan is that we remain an agricultural fair. The general plan is that we do something new every year. We really can't expect people to come back every year and see exactly the same thing. We may have the same product, but it may be in a different package. When asked about expanding the number of days, which of course was a hot button item a number of years ago, Len was quick to remark, quote, "Plans to add the number of days have been discussed. The last time it was voted on, it was voted down. My personal opinion is that will come. I don't know when though." I suggest to you that Len's persistence paid off. Finally, Len and I talked about, during the 2018 fair, his background for a video. I asked him, any thoughts of retiring? He remarked, "I've got someone who's kind of working into the treasurer spot this year, but that doesn't mean I'll walk away from the fair totally." And I think that's the way a lot of us feel as well. Also regarding the 2018 fair, I also mentioned to Len that I talked to Melissa DeVito last night, and someone else today. With all of this going on this weekend, this fair shouldn't have happened. Of course, this is the one of the big fairs, the 2018. Len said, "That's right." I continued, and it does because of the unwavering spirit of our volunteers. Len countered, "We've had other fairs that should not have happened. Rain this year, a hurricane, and we shouldn't have opened up that year, but we did. We opened at noon on Saturday morning, and we had good attendance." I said, "We gave the people a flush toilet and a hot meal." To which he responded, "That's right." I'm glad you agreed with that, Len. There is so much to report. I can't tell you how much I left on the cutting room floor, but you certainly get the message. And I'm confident that all of you have your own story about Len. Len Baginski has the Durham Fair embedded in his soul, and we are thankful to him for his leadership, his passion, his drive, his incredible historical memory that he willingly shares with anyone, and his nearly perfect attendance at every meeting. Mr. President, at this time I present to you Leonard Baginski, the current Durham Fair 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award recipient.
Leonard said to me when he came up here, "I don't do well with awards. I can't tell you what a privilege this is to present this to one of the greatest people I know. And he's been a personal friend and mentor of mine through my years. So Mr. Baginski and family, your congratulations."
Nothing to say because I wasn't told about this. I do know that this is my 50th year in a elected position, one type or another, and there's been a lot of people along the way, and those are the people who really made the fair. Basically, when you're head of an organization like this, you have to know when to stay out of the way, and I think I did.
This says in appreciation of your outstanding contributions and excellent service to our association.